Hello, Captains of Pixelated Warships. This is the STYG, and today we're going to be going over a how-to guide for cruisers. First and foremost, before we start going over the details on how to play cruisers themselves, I want to play a little gameplay footage in the background here of myself and one of my good friends in the Milwaukee in Arkansas. Please keep in mind that this game is Tier 2/Tier 3, and it is a very aggressive style of cruiser play for myself, so please keep that in mind as we are talking about these details. Now, to start the how-to guide, I have to say that cruisers are the most fun ship class to play personally, and that's because they have so many unique characteristics, so many things they can do, but they are overshadowed by the negative things, which is extremely unfortunate. And because of these things, I'm going to help give some information from all sorts of realms, from basic knowledge and understanding of cruisers, how to play them, how to use the ships themselves, and how to even choose the best ship out of each nation to get you the best results so you can overcome your fear and frustration, believe me, so you can become a better cruiser player. Because playing cruisers is actually very, very fun, and you can become, and you are, an integral part of your team. So to jump into the nitty-gritty here, I have to start off by saying you are a support ship. First and foremost, it is unbelievably important, crucial, vital, all the words, get the thesaurus out, I don't care, find all the words that mean crucial, okay? You are a support ship. It is crucial for you to know that. And with that, your main priority, okay, is to support battleships, as well as, if not limited to, being in a wolf pack of other cruisers. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about when you start off the match, okay? So this is where things get pickly very, very quickly, because everything can change, and it does every game. So for example, just to start as a wide realm, okay? If you are not by battleships, if you are not by cruisers, and if you are by destroyers, you need to find a hiding spot, okay? You need to find the nearest island, or maybe an island a little bit farther away, but with that you need to have map understanding and awareness, and that naturally and unfortunately just comes from playing these matches over and over and over again. But you need to find islands that you can hop to, okay? If though you are with battleships when you start off, okay, you want to stay with the battleships and be their support. And naturally, cruisers have a longer range of fire, similar, a little bit shorter, obviously, than a battleship. So you want to stay behind a battleship. You can circle around them, whatever, but you do not want to get too far ahead of them. And you're going to act as support for as long as you can, depending if you're talking to a teammate, if you're taking a flank, if you're taking an objective. It completely changes all the time. So map awareness for cruisers is very important, and actually, if I had to classify it, it's probably the number one thing that gets players killed when they're playing cruisers themselves. The other option that can be had is when you start off, if you're with, and I personally believe this is the best scenario, is if you spawn with another cruiser, or another two cruisers, or a battleship and a cruiser. That is your best scenario for success. And it's important and vital to know that, because as I said, you're a support ship, okay? All of you, which is very difficult, all of you, if you work together, are literally a force to be reckoned with. And cruisers are essentially the main harassment of that group of ships. But it becomes even more so when you're an actual wolf pack of many cruisers, from 2 to 3 cruisers, okay? With that, the ability for you to flank, the ability for you to push is unbelievably unprecedented against any other sort of fleet tactic in the game, I believe, other than, if there's a case of 2 or 3 battleships, okay? So with that, you have to stay together, and I'm going to use the scenario, okay, of a wolf pack, because regardless of when you start, that should be first and foremost how you should be grouping up together all the time, okay? So that is my example I will be using for this. So as a wolf pack, your job is to push, okay? And when you're able to push, you can either flank, you can put pressure on whichever side of the map you're at, you can put pressure on capture points, and you can also act as a vice if your other teammates are pushing in the other direction, if you're east or west, vice versa. Together you're a force to be reckoned with. And it's unfortunate because players rarely talk to each other, they rarely work together, and that's the reason why cruisers fail, okay? But to expand on this and to talk about more points other than just starting off on the map here, things to consider are you also do not want to sail. You do not want to sail in a straight line. Please do not sail in a straight line. You can see this when you're playing the lower tiers, especially people with a Phoenix or Omaha, for example. They're just juicy and they're fun to just citadel and absolutely destroy, okay? But once you get up to tier 5, especially after, well, we'll talk about this when we go into classes in a second, but once you get to tier 5, the gameplay changes completely for all nations in the gameplay itself, and it is actually quite terrifying, especially when you're if you're a first cruiser captain like me and you get into the Pensacola and you don't know what's going on, you're gonna get melted and it's terrible, okay? So to go into these objectives quickly and precisely, I have to say don't sail in a straight line. You always have to angle, you need to be bobbing and weaving, okay? Bobbing and frickin' weaving, and you need to be changing your speed up all of the time. Do not sail in a straight line, okay? And you always have to be changing your speed, and you have to be very aware of your angling to all of the ships around you, because you have to remember your armor is absolutely terrible for battleships, okay? And even though battleships first and foremost should be taking other battleships out of the game, you are a juicy target. And you've seen this when you've been playing, okay? If you're a battleship captain and you got your eyes set on a cruiser, if a cruiser captain is angling correctly, bobbing and weaving and changing up speed, it's very difficult to get an aim on him, and you kind of just forget about him. You don't want to deal with it. And that's your goal. That's what you want to be. And like I said, it takes a lot of awareness, especially with the controls, with your plan, with talking to teammates. It's very difficult, but it's very rewarding, because when you just that in itself, you are able to last longer in the game. Now, the next things to go over are you need to remember that you need to be firing HE, and it needs to be loaded at all times at the start of every match. Yes, you can shoot AP, and it's very situational, but you should be shooting HE primarily, okay? Your goal is, like I said a little bit before this, when you're island hopping, you need to be shooting HE at ships from a distance, okay? If all you have are battleships, shoot HE for days. You're essentially in Atlanta, where you can, well, I mean, in Atlanta is a cruiser, but you want to be behind islands, you want to be hidden, you want to, and you need to make sure you're going to be hidden, okay? And you'll be shooting for days, and the goal is to get as many fires as you possibly can. And you're actually very intimidating, okay? So if you get fires on a ship, and if they pop the damage control party, it's good to know the reload time of damage control party for each of the ship class, okay? So, for example, if a battleship captain is freaking out and hits their damage control party, and you're still firing HE shells, that's great for you, because you want to be able to get fires constantly and consistently so you can burn them down. And that is the goal. And being a nuisance with that, that's how and why you can push the map. And when multiple cruisers are together, it is absolutely terrifying. You also need to remember too that your consumables are extremely important and absolutely vital for your success, okay? Using your consumables helps the team tremendously. And this comes first and foremost when you're talking about sonar in particular. If there are DDs hidden in smoke, undercover, if you're able to pop your sonar and show torps and show enemy positions, that is absolutely crucial because you are telling everybody on your team where that destroyer's at, you know, for a quick example. And when you're able to do that, they can be deleted easier. And it is known, and it is true, that the longer destroyers are in the game, the more difficult it becomes to win because of the power that they have over the map itself. So to help your chances to be more successful, I wanted to talk about a few ships that could be able to help you and will be able to help you if you follow just the few things I just listed before, okay? So for the United States, you want to start off, if you haven't, with the Omaha, which many people have already, okay? And it's a very easy ship to be successful in, and it's very forgiving. But with that, once you get to the Pensacola, stuff starts getting very bad quickly, okay? And we'll be going over that in another video, but you want to work towards the New Orleans. Once you have that ship, the cruiser line for the U.S. will be absolutely rewarding, okay? Even though it's more forgiving than the Pensacola, it's a good ship to be able to earn credits and to really appreciate what cruisers do. For the Japanese line, I'd have to say the Elba is a fantastic ship. Furutaka is great as well, and the Kuma, it's kind of brutal. It's almost, to me personally, it's almost like playing a Pensacola. I mean, it's not bad in that sense, but it's kind of frustrating. And the same with the Furutaka. You know, they're kind of jack of all trades. You know, they don't do that much. But once you get the Aoba and eventually work your way to Myogo, those are the ships that start really rewarding you for this type of cruiser play. And as I said, with the United States, I'll be going over a detail on another video, an explanation of when you want to choose a cruiser, which nation and which ships should you choose. So that'll be next after this video. So for the Germans, you want to look at, which everybody knows, but the Königsberg and Nuremberg. Both of these ships, especially the Nuremberg after it got buffed, are absolutely brutal and unbelievably rewarding for cruiser play. And if you're brand new to this and you're looking for a cruiser to start off, I would actually personally say start in the Germans and work towards the Königsberg. And I'm not going to go into any detail about it because once you get there, you will understand, if not already, why it's such a great ship. But all in all, you have to remember these very specific, key, and simple things. And it's very hard to forget them, to want to go off alone, but like I said, you can't play these ships alone. You have to be in a pack of people, and you have to be willing to talk, and you have to be willing to ignore things that you tell yourself in your head, okay? Like going away alone in a game, you can't do that. You have to be very cognizant, and you have to have great map awareness. And without having those things, you're not going to be able to be successful, okay? The ship line isn't bad. Cruisers aren't bad. They're just very specific. And many people who play battleships want to play a cruiser like a battleship, and it's not successful. So I know this was a little bit shorter of a video, and I would like to go into more specifics, which I will in future videos, and that will be including different commander builds, different tiers, and more advanced techniques. But I can't stress that most importantly, you need to know what to do at the beginning of the match, because that's what gives you the most success. You don't want to be going out in the middle of nowhere by yourself. That's going to get you killed. But with these things, you will survive longer and you'll have more fun. And with that, thank you for watching. I ask if you liked the video, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and just have a good one. Peace out, Girl Scouts.